Yo, 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 this is Cam. We back. And you know how we do this. Let's start out, raising some energy up. Alright? Alright. You know how we do it? With energy. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And remember, we breathe from a power spot, a Tandian, right? So today's video, we're going to be talking about knowledge is power. And my experience with my children dealing with these hospitals, how I proved to myself that knowledge is power. But before we get into today's video, we got this public service announcement, this PSA for you. Today's PSA for you is one of the worst things you can put in your body that's just terrible for your pineal gland, your God gland, is dairy. Dairy is unnatural. Alright? What other mammals you see drinking other mammals' milk? Alright? It's not natural. When you do dairy, what dairy does is it creates a film, a mucus film over your pineal gland and shunts the vibration, which means shunts the vibration means if it's vibrating like this and I shunt it, that's going to slow down the vibration. So dairy cuts you off from your God self. Alright? That's very key that you understand the importance of how dairy keeps you disconnected from your pineal gland, your God gland. And if you're disconnected from your God gland, that means you're disconnected from your God self. So stay away from the dairy. Alright? Any type of dairy. Cheese, milk. Dairy is bad, period. Alright? It's unnatural. So today's video, I'm going to tell y'all a story, a couple stories that happened with two of my children, right? So, first of all, let me say this. I don't deal with hospitals. All my children was born at home, alright? So, we started the story in 2005. I was out meditating, and during my meditation I was kind of upset because I only had two children. I consider myself to be in a spiritual elite, right? And during this meditation, I remember the scene from the Malcolm X movie when Malcolm went to confront the Honorable Elijah Muhammad about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad sleeping with all these women, having all these babies. And I'm going to paraphrase the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's response to Malcolm. But basically what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said was, a tree that's strong should bear many fruits. Alright? So what he's talking about is a tree that's strong, meaning, like what I have witnessed, people I went to college with that got these great jobs, right? Good jobs, making all this good money, but they ain't having one or two children, right? But yet, you have brothers and sisters who are struggling. Economically, they're not that well off, but they're having 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 children, right? So, what does it do for the race? You figure it out, right? You figure it out. So, as I was out there meditating and upset with the fact that I only had 2 children, right? Now there's a moral to the story, so stay to the end of the story, because there's a moral to the story. So 1 month later, after I was out there meditating, my wife tells me she's pregnant. Okay? So, and at that time I was 42 years old. So, to make a long story short, we had planned on doing a water birth. We had a pool set up in the house, but the baby came so fast, my wife didn't make it to the pool. And while she was in labor, and I'm looking down and I'm wondering, did my wife take a shit? Let me say this. This child, this is my last child, my 3rd child. He was born at 41 and a half weeks. A week and a half after he should have been delivered. If I would have known now, if I would have known then what I know now, we would have induced labor. But what happens at 40 weeks with the baby in the womb, when the baby matures, it starts having bowel movements. The medical people call it meconium. So during the delivery, when his head hit the birth canal and the midwife had the heart fetal monitor, his heart rate stopped. And she freaked out. Because what had happened was all what I thought was my wife's bowel movement was the meconium from the baby that was in the placenta, and it was all over the place. So when his head hit the birth canal, the heart stopped. And the midwife says, oh my God, she freaked out because he had ingested the meconium. It's called aspiration. So the medical term is meconium aspiration. So we called the ambulance to hurry and get him to the hospital. And you know, all I know is what I seen on TV. And when the ambulance came, I didn't know no better. I went to go jump in the back of the ambulance, and the white lady ambulance was like, what are you doing? And I growled at her, that's my son! And then the other ambulance, EMT, said, come sit in the front with me, man. So we got to the hospital. And when they rolled him into the emergency room, I'm right behind him. Rolled right into the emergency room. They say, what are you doing? And I said in a low tone, that's my son! They said, leave him alone! Stand right here, sir. We kept the emergency room door open. I never left my son's side. Alright? You can't tell me I can't be near mines. So, after they got him out of the emergency room and we were the natal ICU, we had this black female doctor who 2 or 3 times, now we got to the hospital about 2 o'clock that afternoon, and 2 or 3 times she came by and looked at her watch. She says, it's only a matter of time. Ain't no way in the hell he was going to live. I said, you don't know who the hell you talking to. So I started doing my energy work on my boy, right? 2, 3 hours later, after my wife and the 2 older children who were 10 and 11 came in, and as a family, we're doing energy work on our loved one. And this pissy ass female doctor, it's only a matter of time. What she was looking at, the what's called the vital statistics. The statistics, not vital statistics, but whatever the monitor they has, the baby's heart rate, the lactic acid count was something they had never seen before. It was off the chart because he had spent 45 minutes with no oxygen. So with the lactic acid count off the chart, what this meant was his voluntary nervous system was fried. It's like frying a CPU inside of a computer. So his voluntary nervous system was gone. He had no voluntary control. So that day, my older brother, who is a classical singer, he made a CD, and we put it in a little CD player with the headphones so my son could hear this while he's in ICU. And 3-4 hours after my brother came back, and my son heard my brother's voice, even though his eyes was closed, he started humming. He hummed for an hour straight. So that let me know, ooh, he recognized his uncle's voice, right? So we went home that evening, and they had him on 100% oxygen. And when I came back that very next morning, about 6 or 7 in the morning, they had dropped the oxygen content down, right? Because at this point in time, I knew we could save him. But the question was in my mind, is it right to save him? Because we're talking about quality of life, right? So the doctor, when I came by and I saw that they had dropped the oxygen probably to 80% and his vitals were still strong, I'm like, yeah. And this same bitch doctor, black, said, that ain't shit. And I tried to maintain myself. I said, doctor, we gotta climb a mountain. We're gonna take it one baby step at a time. No negativity around my child. You keep that negative shit over there. You're gonna be negative, get the hell away from here. Right? You need to understand, I have no respect for hospitals. I have no respect for doctors. The doctor was upset because she said the baby was gonna die and the baby didn't die. So now she was upset. So next, they were getting ready to do the MRI to see the brain damage. And this same doctor went through her little neurological test to see what was working, what wasn't. And when she got up to his face and did all that, he said, she says, he's annoyed with me. That's a good sign. You're damn right he's annoyed with you. He heard all that shit. That let me know another thing. He, even though he couldn't move his body, he knew what the hell was going on. Right? So when they did the MRI, they came back and says the lack of oxygen made his brain super small. There's nothing we can do to save him. As a matter of fact, they told me, they said, if we would have known that he was born at the house like that, we would have never have tried to save him. 9 times out of 10 in the hospital, when the child experiences what's called meconium aspiration, 9 out of 10 times they die. So they said they wouldn't even wasted their time trying to save him. Right? I said, okay. Well, will you allow me to bring my crystals and my magnets in this hospital and do what I do to save my child? It's non-intrusive. Boom, you can do that. So I went in up there in the hospital. I took these are called magnetic power pads. My magnetic power pads. I got the smaller versions, right? My magnets. Took me a bunch of crystals up in there, right? And went to work, right? I went to work. Me and my family, we did energy work on my son. And where they say he couldn't, he did. They say he got so much scarring in his lungs from the meconium, he's never going to be able to sit up straight. He's going to get weaker and weaker and weaker, right? They say, yeah, he survived now, but he won't make it later on down the line, right? So there was one doctor that was in there. So after we got him out of he stayed in the natal ICU for 2 weeks. And my wife would be there in the morning, and I would be there all night long. I was on the graveyard shift. And what we noticed was, and this is why we did this, when we were not there, his vitals weakened. That's why when your loved one's in a hospital, you should always have someone by their side. All right? This is very key. You understand, it's a basic principle of life. The more loved ones around, the more healing energy you have, right? So two or three doctors were naysayers, just negative, 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 right? And I'm like, you but get that shit away from my baby. No. And when they would see me at night doing this energy work all night long, when the doctor and the residents would come by, they would stop at every baby but mine. They didn't even stop at my baby, which told me they had gave up, and they saw me doing the work. So one of the things that when she was doing on the first day doing the neurological analysis test, she said he don't have no gag reflex. You know, he don't have no gag reflex. So, you know, the whole time, what I noticed, because he was in a natal ICU for 2 weeks, if we had an issue, all I would do was talk to him. Boom. He worked with me and we get it straight, right? So I was like, this probably, we probably in the hospital probably, this was after the first week. And I said, I was talking to my son, I said, son, we got to get this gag reflex working, right? So I spent all night, you know, put some magnets on there, put some crystals, massage, put some magnets, crystals, massage, right? And it was this doctor. Now let me say this. The whole time I was there, I was under a microscope. They sat and watched and learned from me. I'm going to show you power, baby. Watch this. So that night, when I was working with him to, hey man, we got to get you swallowing, got to get your gag reflex. It was a doctor, Dr. Red something, she, Caucasian, Native American. She sat behind me the whole night and watched, right? So I started about, 11 p.m. and about around 6 o'clock a.m. I saw him swallow. I said, oh shit, we got it, right? Next thing you know, when he swallowed like that, all the vitals start dropping. He started turning blue. And the doctor behind me was saying, she got up, she says, see, this is what we were trying to tell you. Because of the meconium in his lungs are scarred, his lungs are weak, he ain't gonna make it. And she says, she started crying out, I sat there, it's hard, you worked all night. You worked so hard. I think you better call your wife, it's time. And I said, Dr. Redpath, something like that. So I said, Dr. Redpath, come here. And I took the doctor and I hugged her. I had to console her and told her it is as it is, it will be as it will be. I'm all right with it. So what's wrong with this picture? I'm the parent, I'm the one supposed to be crying. They supposed to be consoling me. But no, I was in control. I got the power. Not you, the doctor. So I hugged the doctor and let her know it's going to be all right. Whatever happened, it's going to happen. It's just the way it is. It is as it is. It will be as it will be. And so I called my wife. 25, 30 minutes later, she came up on the scene. And the doctor's like, y'all need to say your farewells and your bye-byes now because the baby's about to die, right? And so my wife picked up my son. And she had his hand, and he took her finger and squoze like, hey, hey, hey! Like he was trying to tell her something. So my wife says, get the suction machine, suction him. Big ass hunk of loogie came out. The blue oxygen returned, and vitals went back up. So y'all say he was going to die, and then once again, he's proving you wrong. Alright? So that's special needs son, because now he's in a wheelchair, and we're dealing with seizures, where they told me, guaranteed me, there was no way that this child could live. Now watch this. I'm going to take it a step further. So after the first day we did the energy work, I said, once again, I said, I know we could save him, but is it right to save him? Does he have the will to fight? If he don't have the will to fight, I don't care how much energy we put on him like that, it ain't gonna do no good. So, my oldest son, who was 10, 2 nights in a row, baby boy and him was communicating in the dream world, and every question I had in my mind regardless about what we were going to do, if he was willing to fight, he told his older brother in the dream. And the older brother came back and told me, whoop, 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 things I hadn't even mentioned that I was concerned with. The baby boy was revealing to his older brother, and all my questions was being answered through the dream world. So I learned, well, damn, so the sons got a psychic connection, right? And they real tight till today, real tight. So that, I'm gonna leave it, I'm gonna let the story end right there. But the moral to this story is, when you go to manifest something, you better be clear about your manifestation. Because when I was out there angry that I didn't have a third child, I wasn't clear. And so now, yes, I do have a child. Huh? It's not a normal child, see, because I was not clear in my manifestations. All right? So also, let me say this. This child was the best thing ever happened to me because his name literally means coming into the light. I'm Cam. Cam, Kemet, means black, right? Kemet, land of black people. Cam, black. One black for the inside, one black for the outside, huh? So, up to that point, that time in my life, I had existed in darkness. Meaning, like my sign is Capricorn, which is a dark sign. So, I was seething darkness. All I was caring about was death and destruction of this realm. Destroy this realm, destroy this realm, destroy this realm. So, when that son was born, then I started looking at all the other people, the 2 children, my wife. I said, wait a minute. They walking around with this black cloud over their head too. I was like, bruh. You got everybody in darkness. This ain't right, because they ain't even dark. They light. So, this child taught me that it is a process, a conscious process, to convert light into darkness into light. Because light comes from darkness. So I made it, as a human being, I elevated on another level of consciousness where I chose to no longer exist in darkness, to bring everything, transmute the darkness into light. Alright? So, 6 months, this is the second story. 6 months after my son was born, my wife had an accident in the car where my daughter, she was 11, and him, he was 6 months, was in the back seat of the car. Now let me say this, 1 month before my wife had this accident, I took the 2 older children and taught them this advanced meditation. This meditation is so advanced that until your consciousness expands, when you start doing the meditation, bam, it'll knock you out. So I had just taught them this advanced meditation. Alright? So, my wife has an accident in the car. She's on the highway, and it's raining, and she hit an off-ramp, and the car slid, and the side rail, those guardrail, she slid, and the guardrail, whoop, the top half of the car. So when I came up on the scene, the accident scene, the braces on the back that go up and down was shuttered. I knew my daughter was in the back seat. I'm like, oh my God. I freaked out because I'm like, I just knew she was dead. I freaked out. I freaked out so bad, the policeman told me, I'm going to take you to jail if you don't don't start acting like that. What type of shit is that? Huh? If it wasn't for all the people who had stopped and helped my wife, they was holding my baby boy, while the fireman was using the jaws of life to get my daughter out of the car. As a result of the accident, her thigh bone was like this, and her shin bone down here was severely fractured. Right? So we get to the emergency room, and we go to it was a weekend. So what happened was they had no pediatric specialist at this particular hospital on the weekend. And when they was saying we can't get no blood pulse, heartbeat at the bottom of her leg, we probably might have to amputate it. I'm like, bullshit! Once again, I get all up in the emergency room, right? I'm right there with my daughter, and as they start doing what they're doing, I'm whispering in my daughter's ear that meditation, and she just blam, right? She's out now. And so what they was trying to do was they had to take x-rays. They had to lift the leg, boom, put the thing up under there, lift the leg, whoop-de-whoop. So when they were getting ready to lift her leg, I said, I was telling her to get ready to inhale, hold your breath, whoop, 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 exhale. Inhale, baby, hold your breath, exhale. So as I was sitting there, standing there, giving instructions to my daughter, she didn't say not one word. No, ooh, look, they didn't give her nothing for the pain or nothing, man. I was shocked. I was amazed, right? Because that meditation took her to another place, knocked her out. She was conscious, but she wasn't there. And the emergency room doctor that was taking the x-ray stuff, he was amazed. He said to me in a jokingly manner, "You looking for a job?" I wasn't joking. I said, "Hell yeah, I'm looking for a job." Right? So, they tried doing the energy work. No, y'all ain't finna amputate shit. No. So then, whoop-de-whoop, they got an ambulance, take her to the children's hospital, right? So meanwhile, my 6-month-old baby boy, who, once again, because we believe he can't see as well as everybody else, so he has hyper hearing. He got hyper hearing. So all this noise going on in the hospital, his heart rate's like boop, 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 boop. So my wife and son go to the children's hospital with my daughter, and I'm sitting there waiting for them to release my baby boy. And so after a while, I was like, y'all don't get it. All this noise in here, his heart rate is not going to slow down. I tell you what, I'm just going to take him and go. They said, "You can't do that, sir." I said, "Bullshit. Watch me." Start taking all that shit off of him. I'm in control here. I got the power. So he says, "Well, sir, let me go get a piece of paper for you to sign. A waiver." He gave me the waiver, and under my name, hint, 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 y'all, pick up on this now. Under my name, I put in quotations, like I do everything else. Reserve all rights. All rights reserved, right? He took the paper and he came back. He said, "Sir, it's just like you didn't sign it." I know. Now, we gone, right? So we took my son and we left. Right? I'm in control, not you. I got the power. Right? Right. So we get to the children's hospital, and they saying they're going to have to do surgery, whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop, right? I said, and they say, "Well, we may have to have a situation where we do a blood transfusion." I said, "No. Y'all ain't put nobody else's blood in my baby." They say, "Well, sir, for emergency purposes, we got to have a backup plan." I said, "Well, you know what? You take that blood that you want to use for emergency purposes, you put the magnets, the negative side of the magnet biologically affects your blood differently than the positive side of your magnet. So I told him, you take the blood 24 hours before the surgery, you put it in between these magnets, and prepare that blood if you're going to put it in my daughter. You just ain't going to put no blood in my daughter like that, right? So, next thing you know, I had the hospital chaplain says, hey, I heard you, what's that? What do you know about them magnets, huh? I had the social worker, hey, what you know about them magnets, huh? See, so what I'm saying, the whole purpose of this video is, once you get to know yourself and go inside and raise up your frequency vibration, when you deal with them out there, you are not subject to what they say. Listen, the 15 years before all this happened, I had been preparing. It felt like I had been preparing myself for these incidents with my children. So when I went in there, I'm like, see, the normal person goes in and says, doctor, help me. No. I went in like, doctor, I'm in control. I'm going to tell you what I need you to do for my child. Not the other way around. Right? And so I already know. The doctors know about the magnets. As a matter of fact, when we was in the natal ICU and the neurologist came through there, once again, I like to mess with them. I said, doctor, what you know about magnets and healing the brain? He says, at Fisk University, in the Applied Science Division, they doing studies with subcutaneous application of magnets, meaning they put magnets on top of your skin, right? So the whole purpose of this video is that you need to understand, once you tap into your God self, you're not at the whims. You're not like everybody else. When it comes to my children, as a matter of fact, my special needs son, they put in his medical jacket something like aggressive father, very proactive father, something like that, because they know I'm not the average parent, right? And they put that thing in his medical jacket, so let them know. Let me say this. To love yourself is to know yourself. And until you know yourself, you at the whims of everything around you. Whether it's the science, whether it's the religion, whether it's the government, all right? So, what we need to do then, because learn to be captain of your ship. You need to learn how the energy works in your body. You need to learn all the different aspects of the energy in your body. You need to learn how to breathe right. You need to learn how to cultivate your energy. So you won't be at the whims of these suckers, right? And they are suckers. These colonizers don't know shit, right? None of they sciences agree with nothing. This geography don't agree with archaeology, don't agree with medicine, don't agree. Why? Because they all are missing the main factor that ties everything together, and that's the God factor, right? So, if it don't include the God factor, I have no respect for it. That's why I don't have no respect for the medical people. Right? So I don't deal with doctors. Y'all can deal with them. Alright? So what we need to do is, I'm going to list down at the bottom. Go check out my website, where we got the courses teaching you level 1 course, where you can learn to get up on your shit. You learn how to control your energy. Learn how to control your breathing. Learn which things you can use to help elevate, right? To help elevate. So, once again, knowledge is power. And the more knowledge you have, what? The more power you have. Peace and blessings until the next go around.